Tim Walz is Harris's VP pick, which I am so excited about. And yes, we do have to talk about it. By the way, I'm KJ Miller. I am a founder, lecturer, and content creator, and I love to talk about all things business, beauty, pop culture, and these days, politics. So if you're into any of that, be sure to subscribe. Now let's get into it. Now, when Kamala was announced as our new Democratic nominee for president, I got on here and made a video about why I was so excited and all of the thoughts that I was having. And that video actually did pretty well. I was like, this is going to be kind of random, and I can't even promise it's going to be coherent, but I want to share my excitement and my thoughts. And it did pretty well. And now I got to do the same thing for my guy, Tim Walz, because I made a video weeks ago saying that he was my pick, okay? Over on TikTok. You should go watch it. I will also link it below. This video here, I made that video on July 30th. And what did I say in the video? I said I want it to be Tim Walz. I said, I know no one cares what I think. I know my opinion doesn't matter. I do not have Kamala's ear, but I want it to be Tim Walz. Well, turns out Kamala heard me. Okay, maybe I have her ear after all, because she picked my guy. And I just want to talk a little bit about why I'm so excited about this. Number one, Tim Walz is doing it for the Midwest. And I'm a Midwest girl, okay? Born and bred, Columbus, Ohio. That's where I'm from. I rep the Midwest, and I love having Midwest representation in the White House and on the ticket. And I just think like Midwest sensibilities, ever since I moved back home about a year ago. I'd been living on the East Coast for a long time, since 2010. Okay, that's when I moved to New York, and I'd lived in New York for almost a decade. I lived in Boston for a very many years because of school. And I lived in Philly for several years, okay? All on the East Coast. So that's been like my world, my life for so long. And since moving back to Ohio, I have to tell you, I forgot how good it is. I forgot how good the Midwest is. People are kind out here, okay? Like actually genuinely kind, helpful, and resilient. And I would often feel on the East Coast, particularly in New York and Boston, I would often feel that there was just so much posturing going on. Everybody was trying to make it clear how successful they were, how much work they were doing, how much money they had, who they were friends with that you weren't friends with, what party they got invited to. It felt like that all the time. And maybe this was just who I was hanging out with, okay? Maybe I was hanging out with a bunch of stuck-up folks. Who knows? But I will tell you, there's almost no posturing here in Columbus, Ohio, okay? Everybody's just doing what they're doing, okay? They're going to a Buckeyes game. They're wearing their jeans. They're headed to the mall. It just is a different feel. I know I'm generalizing and maybe stereotyping, although I wouldn't call it stereotyping, but I would potentially call it generalizing. But it's a different feel we have here, okay? There just isn't a lot of posturing. There really isn't. And people are kind. Neighbors, let me tell you something. This is a true story, okay? When we moved into our house, we had multiple neighbors come over with pie, okay? Pie, cake, treats, cookies, multiple neighbors. We had, and when neighbors would come over and we weren't here, they would leave, the things on our doorstep, gifts, cards. I have never, okay, I've moved to a great many places. Philly, Boston, New York. Within those cities, I've moved to different apartments. I've never had not one neighbor give me not one goddamn thing, okay? Not one. Multiple neighbors. I was floored. And that, frankly, is what the Midwest is about. Okay? So that's number one. He's Midwest. I'm Midwest. I love having Midwest representation on the ticket. I love the way Midwesterners just are. I like the way we are. Okay? So that's number one. Okay. Number two, I really feel like he's such a good balance for Kamala. Now, the way most people have spoken about balance when it comes to Tim and Kamala is sort of the obvious things. She's black, he's white. She's a woman, he's a man. She's from a big state, big city, Oakland, California. He's from a small town in Nebraska. Cool. But what somebody commented on my TikTok that I very much agree with is that there's a balance in terms of aura Okay, because I feel like Kamala is so polished. She is polished. All right. That press and curl is always pressed and curled. That suit, always on point. Ooh, when she came off of that plane in Wisconsin, I'm gonna put up a picture. When she came off of that plane in Wisconsin in that tan and white, I said, Kamala, don't hurt him. Don't hurt him, girl. She's just so polished, so buttoned up. And obviously as vice president of the United States, you have to be. She's an AKA. They are known for being prim and proper. But he is just so laid back, so everyman. So, he does his press conferences in t-shirts half the time. He's not polished, right? That doesn't mean, I'm not saying he's not buttoned up in the sense that, like, when he speaks, I feel like he is extremely well spoken, but it's very, I would call it more laid back in a way that I don't think people are really using laid back to describe Kamala, right? And I like that balance and energy. If you're someone like me and you're a bit type A, you rely on the fact that you have friends who are not type A, right? Like you've got to balance that yin and yang. Or even, I'll think about my husband. I'm an extreme extrovert. He is very much an introvert. And again, balance. Do you see? Balance matters. Okay. And I really feel like there's real balance there. And I'm excited about that for the ticket and how they will be able, I think, to work together as well. Now, the third thing I want to talk about is how Tim Walz delivers a message, because I love his delivery. And I do think, yes, he is plain spoken and he's very direct. And I think he can get away with saying certain things that maybe Kamala can't. Case in point, he was the one to make the couch joke about J.D. Vance. Now, obviously, Kamala could have been made that joke, okay? She's done plenty of speeches at that point. She could have been made that joke, but I don't think it would have landed as well from her. I think she would have gotten more heat for making that joke, but he was able to make it, okay? White guy to white guy, you're a weirdo and you have sex with couches, and I can call it out. See? And I love that. I love that he already has a record for being so plain spoken. Okay, he was the one to call the Republicans weird, and they're weirdos. He was the one to say, in the Midwest, we mind our own damn business, because we do. We are not trying to be all up in your business. Okay, what you do between you and your doctor, your health care, that's between you and your doctor and the Lord. Okay, so we're minding our own damn business. He just has a history of being incredibly plain spoken, direct, but in an affable sort of way. And I love that so much, because I feel like we're going to be able to say so many of the things that maybe we didn't say when Hillary was running against Trump, because we were trying to be the bigger person. We were trying to go high when they went low. And shout out to my good sis, Michelle Obama. That's not what we on in 2024, okay? They go low, we're going to hell. And Tim Walz is not afraid to do it. And I love that. Okay, now, of course, the fourth thing I want to talk about and why I'm so excited is his record. A lot has been said about his record. Obviously, as governor, he's done so much and passed so much progressive legislation that I'm so happy about. What I didn't realize, I was listening to The Daily the other day, and they were saying that some people Republicans felt that he kind of pulled a bait and switch on them, because he had been known for being the guy who would work across the aisle, work with conservatives, like being a bit more moderate. And then as soon as he had a 1-seat majority in the Minnesota Congress, he was not playing. He put everything through. Free breakfast and lunch for the kids. Yep. Guaranteed paid leave. Yep. Enshrining abortion rights. Yep. I mean, he just was popping them out one after another, because he had the majority, a 1-seat majority, and could do it. And I guess some people felt like it was a bait and switch, but honestly, I'll tell you what, I don't think of it as a bait and switch. I think of it as him being politically expedient, right? And knowing what he has to do in order to get things through. And when he has to work across the aisle to get bipartisan deals done, he's going to do it. But if he doesn't have to do it, why would he waste his time? You see? And that's another Midwest thing, okay? We're going to get it done, and we're going to get there the fastest route possible, okay? The shortest route between 2 points is a straight line, okay? So for him, when he's trying to get these free breakfasts and lunches and everything else, why is he going to go try and shake every Tom, Dick, and Harry's hand over in the Republican corner if he doesn't have to do it? All right? Straight line. Went to his party, said, this is what we're doing, and he got it done. And I love that sense of efficiency. This is an efficient man, okay? And so, and his record makes it clear, yes, he is progressive, but what he's trying to do is help people. Every single thing that he passed is helping people. Did he pass a bunch of tax cuts for billionaires? No, he did not. Did he pardon Trump and Trump's ilk from their crimes? No, because who was that going to help? He passed legislation to help people, okay? So yes, I'm excited about his record. I'm excited about the fact that he has shown himself to be politically expedient and efficient. Okay, and then the final thing I want to talk about is the vibes of it all. When I did my video about Kamala, I started by saying how nice it felt to finally feel excited, right? Like there just was no excitement around this election until Kamala became the nominee. And Tim Walz has taken that excitement and punched it up. The vibes are immaculate right now. We, and by we, when I say we, I mean Democrats, we are feeling energized. We are feeling electrified. And Tim Walz has just taken that up a notch. And I'm so happy because I do think that that is what is going to get voters to turn out. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I think this election is going to come down to voter turnout. I don't think we're going to be changing hearts and minds from the Trump camp, okay? If you still support Donald Trump now, today, after everything that he's done, there is nothing that I can say, certainly, that's going to change your mind. And I doubt there's anything that somebody else can say. Like, honestly, after he's committed all these crimes, after he has belittled and demeaned war veterans, women, the disabled community, after he has had literally 44 of his closest people in the White House turn his back on them and say out loud publicly, as loud as they can, this man is not fit for office, run as fast as you can, literally. Pretty much everybody in his cabinet and his vice president has said that. If you are still supporting Trump after all that, what am I going to say? Okay, what is Kamala going to say? That's going to change your mind, all right? You're too deep. So it's not going to be about trying to change their minds. This is going to be about getting people to come out. Getting, yes, registered Democrats to come out who previously were feeling dejected and were not feeling enthusiastic at all about this election, and getting independents to come out and vote for her. And the way you get people who were previously disaffected and we're not planning to come to the polls, one of the ways you get them to come is by injecting enthusiasm and excitement into this race. And I just feel like with Tim Walz and Kamala Harris, that is what we are doing. There is real excitement. There is real enthusiasm, and that is going to get people to the polls. It's still going to take work, okay? Excitement alone isn't going to do it. We're still going to have to knock on doors. We're still going to have to phone bank. We're still going to have to post. We're still going to have to text our friends, make sure everybody is registered to vote. The work is still going to have to be done. But the excitement is what's going to help us get more people to the polls. So the vibes are immaculate, and I am here for it. All right, so that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this conversation. Please let me know what you're thinking in the comments below. And if you love content like this, be sure to subscribe. I'll see you next time.